All right, y'all, a little inspiration for you this Friday, the last day of July. A lot of the stuff you hear me say it all the time. A lot of the stuff the question is, are we doing what we know? Some of those things in there are just reminders for you. But the question is, are you doing it? Is that the way that you operate? Are those your belief systems? I know we know the positivity, the inspiration, the motivation. We understand that. Are we applying that to our life so that we can get to the life that we don't need a break from? If success leaves clues, right? So you find someone that's successful, do what they do, think about life the way, adapt their mindsets in certain things, and you can have what they have. Success in whatever area of your life, in your health life, in your relationships, in your spiritual life, in your financial life, in your business, in any of the areas that people have done it before you. They've been successful. Someone that has a healthier marriage than you, that has done it for longer. Someone that is more successful than you in business. Someone that's more successful than you in their financial life. Someone that has more of a faith life than you have, more connectivity to their creator. Whatever it is, adapt what they have thought about, how they think about things, and you will get the same results. If you change your thinking, you change your life. You heard I forget his name, but the monk guy that's in there, right? That breaks down like watch your thoughts because your thoughts become your words. Watch your words because your words become right your and he breaks it all the way down. And when you get to the end of it, he says your habits, right, create your destiny, right? Or watch your habits for they create your destiny. So if you shrink that whole thing down, your thoughts create your destiny. If your thoughts is where it begins and your destiny is where it ends, then your thoughts create your destiny. That's why, as a man thinketh, so is he, right? Like how you think will create whatever life that you want or don't want. Both can happen if you're not strong enough to think about what you want. A couple questions I wrote down. Who am I? Who do I want to be? Big questions to ask, I know, but there's no reason for us going through this process, ladies and gentlemen. There's no reason for you to go through this process of changing, of learning, of growing, of whatever age and stage you're at to constantly get better, to do the hard thing. It doesn't make sense if you don't already know who are you and who do you want to become? What are you trying to get to? What's the goal? I wrote down you can't hit a target you can't see. You can't hit a target you can't see. If you're not clear, what does retirement actually look like? How much money actually does come in? If you're not clear, you can't hit the target. If you're not clear on the man or woman you want to be or the vision you have for your life, right? Right beyond this screen, I have a vision board sitting on my wall. So every time I'm looking at the screen, if I look past the screen, I'm looking at my vision board. It's just something that's plastered in my mind for the amount of times I sit in front of this screen and the amount of times I'm staring in this direction. I have to glance up and keep looking at that vision board. I instill it in my mind all day, every day, as often as I'm sitting here. And some of y'all know, right? I'm on appointments a lot. So as often as I'm sitting here, I'm taking in also my vision. Is it clear for you? Is your vision clear for you? Do you know what you want to make happen? Do you know who you are, the man or woman that you want to be? Like, how clear are you on these things? That's where this all starts. You can't hit a target you can't see, ladies and gentlemen. So you got to be able to sit down and see the target. What does that look like in your health life, in your faith life, in your relationships, in your financial life, in your business? What does that look like? We play to win. We play not to just avoid loss. There's a chapter in 177 Mental Toughness Secrets that talks about that, getting to the level where you're playing to win and not just playing not to lose. Sounds simple, sounds like a small distinction, but it's huge. Playing just not to lose versus playing to win are completely different things. You operate differently, you think about things differently. So, where in your life are you playing not to lose versus playing to actually win the game? Actually playing offense instead of just playing defense enough to get through. We got to play to win. Results don't impact your frequency. Your frequency should impact your results. Don't let your results impact your frequency. Don't let the results, what you see around you, your current bank account, your current lot in life, where you are at your job, what you're doing, don't let that create your frequency. Don't let that be the frequency you live off of. You heard a lot in that video talking about energy, talking about frequency, raising your level of vibration. I could have used that one in the text, 177 mental toughness secrets. All of these are chapters that you hear people talk about, but these are actually chapters in the book where they talk about raising your level of vibration at will, regardless of what your bank account says. Can your bank account say negative and you still be excited, joyful, happy, running on 10 up here? Or because the bank account is that way, we're low, we're depressed, we don't know, we're down, right? It's all about how we're allowing the external things to control our internal life. If you can learn to raise your frequency, you can learn to keep your energy high, you can learn to be enthusiastic no matter what's happening around you, no matter how much your family is freaking out, no matter what the bank account looks like, no matter what's going on in your health life, like regardless of any of those things, are you focused on and pointed towards, pointing your mind towards the man or woman you want to become? The things that you're growing, the higher vibration, the higher level of frequency. It's important that we're able to do this. Jim, you've heard Jim Rohn say this quote. For some reason, it stands out to me this morning. I don't know why, but to have more, you have to become more. To have more, you have to become more, right? And so I hear on the other side, I think I heard Jim Rohn say it before, but you hear people say, I don't want much, right? You got people in your life that say things like that. I don't want much. I don't need much. Then you don't have to become much. Then you can't expect much out of that person. If they don't want much, if there's not much for them, then they don't have to become much. They can just stay where they are. But for those of us that want more, right? Again, you want more in your, it's not a bad thing to want more. We're not just talking about the material things. It's nice to want a house. It's nice to want the money or the cars. That's nice. But like, it's also saying like I want better health. I want more peace of mind. Like I want better relationships. I want to be more connected in my faith. Like there's things that you might want that are healthy and wholesome and like help you. So what do we have to do to get them? Right? If we understand that to have more we have to become more, well, how do we have more faith? Well, we have to probably become more faithful. Well, how do we become more faithful? We read the word more, we press in more, right? Like we lean on more. If we want more in our finance, we have to become better stewards. We have to grow the capacity. We have to learn money. I was just having a conversation with someone yesterday. You guys know what I do right on the financial side, but there's so many people get to mid 60s, right? Before we start having these conversations, and then they can honestly say, yeah, no one's ever taught me money. Like I just figured it out from like whatever my parents told me, and they weren't rich and wealthy, so they couldn't help me really. And then my own experiences, my trial and error. So outside of that, I don't know anything. I think I got some things, but I don't really know. Why does it take us so long to get to that place where we have to admit, like, I don't know, like, I don't know these things? If we want to go off and design our ideal life, we have to know that if we want more, we got to become more. We got to learn more. We have to grow more. We have to have more capacity. We have to sacrifice more. Like we have to do more of this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, to get to the life that we want. If it is to be, it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. That is the figuring it out part. You're not going to have every single answer. You're not going to have every single straight path of how to get there. You're not going to know exactly how to do it every single time, right? Was it Kobe that said it? Yeah, right? So, like, you're not going to know every single time, but you got to just figure it out. You got to just figure it out. You got to just go make it happen. You want to be able to build your financial life. You got to go figure it out. You want to be able to build in your health life, right? You got to go figure it out. You got to take the necessary steps. Again, I could have chosen lots of different chapters in here because there's only a select few things, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to put that in your mind so that you understand there's only a few things you got to do to be successful. There's only a few things. It's not like a bunch of different things. One, we got to get more disciplined and more focused so we're not so distracted. Yes, life will come to distract you, All the things that you are focused on may not be helping you get to where you want to go. Just because there are things that happen in your life doesn't mean you got to focus on them. So we got to get more focused. We got to get more disciplined in our focus, so we're not as distracted. We got to start consuming better things. We got to start taking in new information. We got to start changing what goes in our eye gates and our ear gates, because those become our thoughts. Our thoughts are not random. Your thoughts are things that you've consumed over time. Belief systems, things that you constantly put in your eye gates and ear gates. That's where your thoughts come from. Your thoughts are not you. They're just things that you've fed yourself. So guess what? If you fed yourself new things, you would have different thoughts. It's just the way it goes. If everything, right? Just real basic examples. I'm very big on just giving you basic examples. If everything you listen to for the next 90 to 120 days, 3 to 4 months, everything you listen to, every single thing you listen to was in Russian, was in the Russian language. Like you didn't listen to any more English ever. Like for the next 3 to 4 months, all you did was listen to things in Russian, music, television, read books in Russian. Like eventually, guess what? Your thoughts would, you would start thinking and understanding Russian. That's what would happen because it's what you're consuming. It's what you're taking in with your eye gates and your ear gates. So hence, that's what you got to think about. So if we just did that now, if you just want to consume things around success, if you want to get your health life in order, why don't you just consume things around health all the time? What if that was the only thing on your feed? Was that the only thing you watched on Netflix? What if that was it? You just looked at how to get healthy, the modern food environment, how to move our body, how to breathe, how to, right? If that's all you consumed, you would become that. So it's obvious that if we're not happy with where we are in any of those areas of our life, it's probably because we've been consuming or we have consumed things or we have programmed ourselves to be at that place, to think on that thought, to think on those thoughts. In our text, in this 177 mental toughness secrets, the chapter I did land on, which says champions live by the law of attraction. I hope you understand that, like, you attract who you are. If you don't like what you're attracting into your life, change who you are. If you don't like the things, the people, the energy, the frequency, the mindsets, if it's not helping you, then you have to change who you are. To have more, you have to become more. The law of attraction. Here's what it says in the text. It says, one of the most significant secrets of the world class is their thorough understanding that we attract into our lives what we are, not what we want. The law of attraction has been written about for thousands of years. Secular wisdom defines it as the power of the subconscious, directed by our dominant thoughts, that attracts people, events, and circumstances into our lives to fulfill our visions. Spiritual leaders argue that dominant thoughts and prayers attract these same people, events, and circumstances through divine intervention. Whatever your belief, the one thing that all thought leaders seem to agree on is this: the law of attraction exists and manifests our dominant thoughts on the physical plane. The great ones know what they think about or give energy to will grow. Say that again. The great ones know what they think about or give energy to will grow. It doesn't matter if it's negative, positive, or neutral. The law operates without judgment. This is the reason average people barely get by while the world class lives in abundance. Thoughts are simply a series of vibrations that grow when supplied with energy. Champions can lose everything on the physical plane and gain it back very quickly just by bathing their minds in thoughts of love and abundance. These thoughts lead to belief, and belief leads to behavior, which creates results. The middle class often misses this concept, while the great ones reap the rewards by obeying this law. The law of attraction. We attract into our lives who we are, not what we want. So if you want to attract better things into your life, you have to become better. You have to become better. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Wish your thought life, wish you had more control over your thought life, which you do by having control over what you consume. Whatever you give energy to, whatever you give thought energy to, it will grow. If you give, like this is, so I have two examples of it. I'd say this when we talk about money. Many times when people just focus on debt, they get more debt. Because what you give energy to, it grows. You think it's counter, right? Like, let me just focus on the debt so I can get out of debt. But what you're not understanding about the mind is whatever we focus on grows. So oftentimes, if we're so focused on debt that we just keep doing it, we might get out, but then we get right back in because we're so focused on it. Whatever we focus on grows. That's an example of what happens in your financial life if you just focus on those things. If you focus your mind and your energy on the things that you do want, not the things you don't want. I used to say this all the time. When you ask people what they want, listen very carefully to see if they first tell you what they don't want. If you ask someone, hey, what do you want in 5 years? Or what does it look like in 2 years? And the first thing out of their mouth is, well, I know I don't want to be at this job. I don't want to live at this place. They're going to have exactly that because they haven't yet pointed their brain to the things that they want. They don't know the difference between telling themselves what they don't want and telling themselves what they do want and where their brain is focused. You attract into your life who you are. So if you want to attract better things into your life, better resources, better people, all the things, you have to become better. You have to. You have to do this work on yourself internally to get better through your thoughts, prayers, visions, right? Writing down, knowing exactly how clear it is of who am I? Where do I want to go? What do I want? Once you get so clear on that, then you start focusing on that. You point your mind to that thing, to those things. That's what I want. And guess what starts to happen? You start to attract it into your life. You start to attract the people, the resources, the thoughts, all the things. You start attracting them into your life because you are different. I know, ladies and gentlemen, easier said than done. Easier said than done. We might know these things, but it's tough for us to do them. Still doesn't mean that it's not right, right? It still means this is the right thing to do. It's going to be harder than you thought, but it's going to be worth it. This quote up here says, we attract into our lives whatever we give our energy, focus, and attention to, whether wanted or unwanted. It doesn't matter if it's wanted or unwanted. On this last Friday of July, I want you to start to think about this as you head into August. Where am I focused? Where am I shifting my focus? What am I actually thinking about and focused on so that can grow into my life? Where do I have to take focus and energy away from in July that did not serve me, did not get me to where I want to go? And where do I need to put this energy and focus in August so that it can start to help me get to where I want to go and get me to the man or woman God called me to be? Let's reflect on that. Do something that scares you today, that pushes you out of your comfort zone, and let's get to it. Tomorrow's a brand new month. Reset the clocks, start again. Let's make this thing happen. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys back here on Monday. Love you guys. Take care.